Hello Masterpix family, welcome back again to the live photo shoot as part of our sequential assignment program. And today I have a very interesting setup for you. I have this fruit basket laid on the table here, and as you can see, the source of light is coming through the window, right? It's a beautiful cloudy day today, so diffuse light is absolutely wonderful for this type of photography. So today we are going to attempt to click pictures of this fruit basket and in the process learn about different aspects and techniques of photography. Depth of field, high depth of field, shallow depth of field, light, direction of light, right? Placement, aesthetically setting all the things together, right? So these are all the things that we'll be practicing today. Fine. So without any further ado, let me just take you through the live shoot. I have put off the lights in the room here so you can find me in darkness, but that is how we wanted. We didn't want any light to be polluting our subject here and wanted only the natural light. Okay, so here we are in the live view, right? So as you can see, the fruits are stacked in the basket, and we have done a bit to lay it out statically, right? Now let us adjust the focal length. Let's see which focal length works for this particular setup. Right, I think this is good enough. The EXIF for this particular setup for a proper exposure, as you can see, it is showing negative, right? So that means we'll have to provide extra light. So 1 by 1, 1 by 25. f2.8, we want a shallow depth of field. So we have selected f2.8, which will give the biggest aperture and hence the shallow depth of field. And since our camera is mounted on the tripod, we don't have to worry about slow shutter speed. We can go very slow. So let's make use of slow shutter speed, 1 by 20, and it should be exactly at 0. What about white balance? Auto, yes, it's working fine, right? But then I would like to have it a little warmer. So what happens if I select shade or maybe cloudy? Right, it gives a early morning glow and a yellowish light coming through the window, right? Can you see the difference between using auto? It gives a bluish and a magenta a tinge to the frame, which gives a cold vibe. I would prefer the cloudy one. Okay, so now our exposure is set, light meter exactly at 0, out of focus, right? So focusing on the first thing that is appearing in the frame, and that is the apple, and capture. Okay, the light coming through the window, soft light, diffuse light, as it is overcast and raining outside, and you get that beautiful orangish glow because we have selected cloudy, right? So the only problem I see in this frame is the background, the distractions in the background. Can you see? Right? The furniture, the walls, they are all creating a distraction. So how do we take care of this? Let's put a backdrop and avoid the clutter in the frame. Okay, and for backdrop, let's use anything that is available in the house, maybe a plain cloth or something like that. Let's check out and set up a backdrop and see if we can improve the picture. So now we have taken care of the background clutter by putting a simple bed sheet against the artifacts here. Okay, can you see? It's a simple bed sheet that is doing the job of a backdrop, right? And now let's see, how do we see it through our camera? Can you see the difference now? No clutter. Now let's go and click the picture. Let's get it exactly to 0. Let's focus on the orange this time and capture. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, the backdrop is adding to the complete frame now. Let's compare with background and without background. The picture on the right hand side is without the backdrop, right? And therefore there is a lot of clutter, whereas the picture on the left hand side is with the backdrop and there is no distraction. So your focus is going to be directly on the fruits. Right, ladies and gentlemen? So this is what I want you to do. Lay out something artistically on a tabletop, get your camera on a tripod, even handheld is okay, and create some good images using the lights coming through the window and then using different angles of light, right? So before we move on, let me just demonstrate to you the high depth of field, how you can use in your camera to your advantage. So now I have directed my camera to a landscape scenario. Can you see? The camera is pointing towards the landscape from my building window, and we will try and click a high depth of field image so that everything from the foreground, background to midground is in focus. At 640, it is at 1/15 f2.8, it is showing positive. So what I have to do, I have to cut off light. So I will select f8, still positive. I will increase the shutter speed to 250. Oh, too much off. Right. Let's focus on the buildings here. This building here. And capture. And this is what we have got. Right, let's go back into live mode. Okay. Now let's try and focus on the droplets here and see what kind of effect do we get. Out of focus, and immediately the background has turned blur, and capture. And this is the picture that we have got with a shallow depth of field in the background. So let's compare side by side. Picture on the right hand side is clicked at f8. Okay, 1/100 ISO 640, and it's giving you a high depth of field because the focus is on the buildings. Whereas with the same exact reading, when the focus is on the droplets, which is very close to the camera, you get everything behind in the background as blur. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want from you. Try different things. Execute the depth of field, shallow, high. Learn about the creativity, practice it. Try and lay out simple things available in your house on the table in a beautiful way, and try and click pictures at different angles. Avoid clutter in the background. Try and see that your picture is coming out the best. Okay, so that's all from myself. Signing off, Amol Patil, and happy clicking. Okay, so doctor, let's check out what you have to offer today. Right, so the assignment is on depth of field.
Yes.
Right, any photographer's handy weapon, I would say. Most important and the most potent weapon any photographer has in his hat is the depth of field. Wearing the depth of field, he can create magic in his picture. Either shallow depth of field to isolate the subject from the background, or high depth of field to actually show everything from the foreground, midground to the background, sharp in focus. So both has its own objectives, and from time to time, every photographer uses it for his creative pursuits. I mean, as I said, fresh, colorful flowers always helps a photographer's frame. So the subject you have selected is apt. Yes. The shallow depth of field that you have chosen to isolate the subject with a 35 lens, I'm sure it's one of the most versatile and beautiful lenses. Particularly the background blur it gives is exceptional, and that is coming in handy here. The background is like blur, and I can see the subject is in focus, right?
Yes.
Um, Only thing here, what I see is the background, as you rightly said, it was very bright. It can be seen. The, the
Correct.
corner
Yeah.
here, right hand side corner,
Yeah.
right? It
Right.
is um, full of highlights, right? And somewhere because of that, in comparison to the bright, big right hand patch,
Yeah.
uh, the subject is a little underexposed. Okay, a little bit
Okay.
of brightness on the flower
Uh-huh.
and a reduction of highlights in the background
Okay.
would have
That helped.
helped
Mm-hmm.
pop the subject in the frame. In post processing, it is very easy to achieve that. Okay, a
True.
little bit of
Yeah.
vignetting. Okay, you remember the
So for the
vignetting, the
most,
black borders.
it's the same photographs I have posted. I have not processed.
Okay. So a little bit of vignetting black along the border would have taken care of the bright
Correct. Yes.
highlights speculations here,
Mm.
and that would have uh, drawn the focus, not only drawn the focus, but also in comparison, the flower would have looked bright. Now here, the actual depth of field is very clearly seen.
Yes.
Okay, along the
Yeah.
bunch of flowers,
Yeah.
the
Only the
focus,
tip is
only the
highlighted.
tip is in focus, and
Correct.
gradually everything else is falling
Is
under shallow depth of field,
correct.
right? The
Yes.
contrast of colors, green with blue, right,
Yeah.
if I can call that,
Correct.
the contrast is really working here.
Yes.
And yes, moreover, the picture is taken very up close, because of which the background blur is that much enhanced and exaggerated, which looks beautiful in this picture,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Even though I would have cropped it a little, taking care of these
The edges. Yeah. Yeah. The white
bright
patches.
spots, patches. Okay,
Yes.
so I would have cropped from here by which would have helped eliminated these bright spots.
The depth is not very clearly seen because the
Right,
leaf
right.
and flowers were all in the same level.
Yes, yes, yes. That's because, as you rightly said, they are in the same focal plane, and
Correct, correct.
therefore,
Yeah,
uh, because for depth of field you need the background to be
yeah.
at
Should be a little far.
little far. I mean, if you remember the thumb rule, twice the distance between
Yes, yes,
camera
yes.
and the flower,
Correct.
then they are virtually in the same frame. It's a little too bright. It is a little
Yeah, it was.
overexposed,
It was at about 4 p.m. in the evening. It was bright sun.
right? Because of which, particularly the white areas of the flower are a little bit on the overexposed side.
Correct.
Okay, the details are not seen, like you
Yeah,
mentioned,
the
the
previous one.
veins could
Yes,
be
yes.
the veins or the flowers could be seen
Correct.
here.
Correct.
Those details are missing because it's a overexposed picture. Now, normally, for such bright conditions, a diffuser always is useful. Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
you know what a diffuser is. Any translucent,
Onto the
uh,
lens.
not on the lens,
Then,
a diffuser to diffuse light. Okay,
all right.
so you
Okay, I got
have
it.
a
Got it.
translucent piece of cloth,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
which will shade the subject from the harsh light. Right. Again, see, because
Yes.
of the white
Yeah,
subject
too
and
much of
bright
white.
light. Yeah,
Yes.
it's all. When I zoom in, you will see there are no details. This is inside, and I like the use of.
Yeah, I wanted
Uh,
to take the reflection as well as the shade.
yes, yes, yes. So that's what I mean. See, basically, the use of shadows and highlights is very well
Correct.
played in this particular picture, right? The window shadow falling, and then the
Correct.
colorful
Yes.
vase here. I mean, it's all adding to the picture. Very nice. I like this. uh, for any photo to be exceptional, excellent, I mean, many things have to fall in place, including your technical knowledge about the camera and stuff. Okay, your artistic knowledge,
Yes.
inclination, rules of composition, and then some effort into the production value of the picture. Okay,
Yeah.
so when I say production value, I mean taking efforts to set up the stage, um,
Yes.
lay out things in an aesthetical way.
Mm.
So the production value that we call, right, putting in
Yes.
some thought, arranging other elements around the subject. Okay, so that also has an impact on the overall quality of the picture. Okay, so all these things put together, if it uh, uh, in a synchronized way, you will get excellent results. So again, a different object here,
Yeah.
right? But then good use of light.
Focus only on the string.
Yes, focus only on the strings, and then everything falls in shallow depth of field.
Right.
And yeah, even very interesting background.
That's the top of a speaker, right?
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right. Because the texture is really working good
Yes.
there. Here,
Yeah.
the black and white contrast along with
Correct.
a light color guitar.
Yeah. And the sun was, as you said, it was faced out by a curtain. There's
Okay,
a curtain. It was at the same time I had taken the photographs.
right. So the curtain here is acting like a diffuser. So now you
Correct.
see,
Yes,
when
yes.
I say diffuser, use of diffuser, the curtain, uh, the any light directly from the source is always going to be
Yeah.
uh,
Too bright and too
bright and
bright.
harsh. Okay,
Yes.
so as a photographer, you should avoid direct light. It should
Correct.
always be a reflected light. Okay, so therefore, you see, whenever it is overcast, you get soft light.
Yeah.
Right, that is a very ideal light for photography. Instead of a clear sky with bright sun, good. So I really appreciate the thought process behind uh, your
Because I
layout.
always found piano to be very interesting. It's got contrasting colors.
Yes,
So I thought,
yes. Yeah, yeah. Cocktails are always interesting.
of course, yes, yes.
So more than anything, I think the gimlet here is looking wonderful, right?
Yeah,
Nice, nice. They're nice actually, right?
yeah,
Even though you yourself could
Wow.
find out how it could have been better after
yeah,
uh,
true.
getting a lot of inputs during the 1 month
Yes,
period.
yes.
So shallow depth of field, yes, the bottle is in focus. Everything behind is falling in shallow depth of field, right? So to that extent, you have achieved the objective. But why the bottle is in the center? I mean, it could have been following the rule of one third. Um, Otherwise, I think it's just a practice shot, and for a practice shot, uh, the results are okay. But then the background, the clutter in the background, the window, the chair, the computer, the table lamp, the table. So a lot of clutter, lot of distractions.
This
I think
actually
it could have been avoided.
this
Nice.
bottle was on my office table.
Arvinder, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So it was no. That's why I said for a practice shot, yes, it's a, good thing that you have taken this picture,
Huh.
which I had also suggested that you should take picture of regular everyday things around you, so that
Huh.
you get a feel. But then I'm
Yes.
saying next time try and improve upon it. Now that you know that um, you have been able to get those that shallow depth of field, work on
Yes.
the artistic aspect of it.
Okay. Okay, sir. Definitely. Definitely.
Right, right. Okay, so here I think it's a different take. Okay, so you have an interesting subject here, right? So looks seems to be quite amused and interested. Angle, I would say yes, a very bold angle, top down. Okay, a bird's eye view, right? So marks for choosing a very bold angle, I would say, right? But then since it's a top down angle, there is no depth of field here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ev-
Yeah.
Everything is falling in the same plane.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Good. So Partha has made sure to take out all the fruits from the refrigerator. Uh,
Yes.
I hope your wife was not too mad with you. अरे क्या कर रहे हो ये सब बाहर निकाल वापस मुझे ही रखना है kind of ऐसा तो नहीं है ना. Right, right. Let's see. Let's check it out. Okay. Focus is the issue here, Partha. Focus is not there.
Focus is
Okay, it's
not is
blur, right? Maybe because of the
focus
slow
is
shutter speed.
slow shutter speed. Shutter speed is slow.
Shutter speed is slow, right? And therefore the focus is not achieved here. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yes. Here now the focus is there, right?
Yes, yes.
The fruits are in focus. No problem with that. But then the angle, Partha, is not really what would have worked for these kind of pictures. It is like from an angle, from top down. So what is happening? You have the
Angle.
you have the
Make,
fruits, and then suddenly you see the table, right?
actually, I put it in tripod. So camera in tripod.
Oh, no, doesn't matter. Try. I'm saying it should have been a little lower. Okay,
Yes, yes.
um, exactly at the eye level to the fruit
Actually,
shape.
table height was low. That's why I cannot
Hmm.
adjust the tripod.
ठीक है. Because of which, what is happening now? But you are not able to get that isolation from the background.
Yes, yes.
And the table is like part of the frame now.
Mm-hmm.
if the focus is on the apple here, okay, the grapes in the background should have been a little blur, but then that is not happening, maybe because you don't have a wide aperture lens. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, what is this?
Victoria Memorial.
Yes, early morning. Is it a,
Early
morning,
morning today.
early morning shot? Right.
Yes.
Okay. Um, Beautiful. The structure itself is famous, beautiful structure, right? And
Mm.
the reflection in the water. So the symmetry that we spoke about during our course, right? The symmetry is working here. Um, Only thing is the complete reflection should have been captured. Okay, right from the top to the bottom.
Top to bottom.
Even in the symmetry, even in the reflection, uh, the entire building should have been captured instead of cropping it abruptly. That would have actually been a better composition, I feel.
I
Secondly,
have.
this particular foreground element should have been avoided. See,
Uh,
it is right in the face. This tree, not this tree. What is this? Some shrub or shrub here. It is right in the
Starting here.
yeah, camera,
And the,
and
and,
it is actually obstructing the view. Okay,
view.
I don't mind the tree here, which is um, complementing the picture, but not this shrub. So it could have been avoided very easily. Some other location it should have you should have taken. Okay, let's see if you have anything else here. Okay, so now yes, if you have focused on the shrub here, yes, I don't mind, right? Because you wanted to have a shallow depth of field as Victoria Memorial in the background, and you have achieved that shallow depth of field. But in the process, what has happened? The main subject, okay, it is in shadows. It is completely dark. Okay,
Yes.
a silhouette picture has you have clicked a silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I'm sure there would have been other interesting um things which you could have used instead of a ordinary shrub. A little flower plant, a flower as the foreground, a colorful something interesting instead of this particular
Yes.
not so interesting subject. What I was talking about, the reflection should have been complete, and
Reflection.
that this is what I was talking about. Okay, no
Mm-hmm.
distractions in the foreground, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is what is helping here. So it's a plain, clean picture of the Victoria Memorial with the reflection in the water and the trees in the surrounding. Okay, a little bit of cropping would have made it even better. With cropping, the little slant that you have could have been very well corrected. Okay, the
Yes.
small patch of wall here
This. Yes.
in the
Yes.
corner that could have been eliminated with cropping.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's a wonderful image. Secondly, it could have been a little more exposed, a little brighter.
Mm.
Okay, you remember what I said? Overexpose the whites. So since the building is pure white marble, uh,
Marble. Mm.
you can overexpose your picture so that the white appears to be pure whites. Yes, Sujit,
Yeah.
nice. I like the use of the background color. Okay,
Right.
so
Yeah.
green, even the fruits are green. So
This,
normally, normally, it is said that you should have a contrast between uh, the subject and the background. But then in
right.
this case, the different shades of green is actually working.
Right.
So green background along with some green fruits, and
And
that is being punctuated with the bright cherry color, red apples, and things like that. Okay. So
apple
all these
and
colors are actually working. The color scheme, particularly, I like in this particular picture. Okay.
you.
Moreover, uh, the focus, the shallow depth of field for the background, it's all working very well. Okay, f2.0. So you are getting that
Yeah.
shallow depth of field. Okay. Now you see attention to details. Now only if these fruits were there, it would have been even then a good picture. But then with the stem and the leaves, I mean, it is
Yeah.
actually adding to the frame. Okay.
I specifically kept that.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
it is from my garden.
yes, yes, yes. So that is actually helping make your picture even
Yeah.
better. Again, here the contrast is working really well. Okay. The red leaves, the red leaves, right? The autumn leaves with a bright blue background, with a vibrant green background. It is really uh, popping the subject here, right? So good use of colors here. That is what is working in this particular frame. Okay, make him look towards the camera. Always look for an opportunity when the subject is looking in the camera through the lens. Okay, so if you would have called him, he would have looked towards you and you could have taken a picture. So even though I would have tried to capture it from
Yeah, the head side.
the, the head side.
Yes, yes.
Okay, try to see if I can create a macro picture out of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so uh, in line with the eyes of the uh,
Yeah.
what is it? Is it a centipede? What is it called?
It's a centipede. Yeah.
Centipede, yeah. So get to the level of the centipede uh,
Yeah.
face size
Nice.
as close as possible, minimum focusing distance.
The idea
Focus,
was to catch the eyes, but it was moving pretty fast. I should have put it
uh,
on AFC instead of
moving very
AFS.
fast. Okay,
Yeah.
moving very fast. Okay. Okay, shallow depth of
So,
field with the help of a
again, not
flash.
sharp enough. Not sharp
Right,
enough.
not sharp enough. Let's see. Yeah, a little soft. The
Yeah.
focus, I think, is
Correct. Yes.
missed here. uh, the subject in the center, why not on one third is the
Yeah.
question.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I mean, whenever you are clicking a picture, you have time, ample time,
Yeah.
so click a
Good.
picture with the
Uh,
subject in the center, one towards the left hand side, one towards the right hand
right.
side.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you never know which one works better. So what is this, a buddha statue on a
No,
tripod?
it is written that it is a
Okay.
first typewriter and typist from Egypt.
Okay, okay.
I
Okay,
placed
and
it on tripod so that I could click.
acha. Right. Good, good. Now, yes, so you have these beautiful buildings in the background, which are, um, and the sea, yeah, right? So, shallow depth of field achieved, well achieved. Let's see if you have any more variations of this. So, that is what I was wanting to see. That since the subject is pretty small, have you taken a close up of it? Because here it looks like a small thing in the entire frame. Okay,
Yeah.
fill the frame. You remember fill the frame?
Yes.
Okay, so fill the frame was not there in this particular picture. So I thought, let me check. And here I can see your subject occupying a major area, okay, with a shallow depth of field. But then, why have it in the center? Have it on this left hand side so that it is not obstructing your background. Okay,
Uh,
if this
yes,
thing
for
would
all
have
the
been somewhere
pictures I
here,
did same.
so you should have followed the rule of one third with the subject on the left hand side, so that you have the subject in focus and there is no obstruction in the background. Now you see what is happening. It is
Yes.
obstructing. It is coming. The buildings are popping through the your main
Yeah.
subject.
Subject.
Right. So look for the background. So that is what we
Yes.
should have taken care. Right. See again here, you had all this space here. Now
Yes.
see what is happening. Everything is, um, what do you say, stacked. Okay. Everything is towards the right hand side, whereas the left hand side there is nothing.
It's empty. It looks
Okay.
empty.
It's a negative space. It looks empty. Okay. So the balance is not there. The balance,
Yes.
I mean, all the weightage of the elements are toward the right hand side of the picture, whereas the left hand side is all has negative space. So you should balance your picture. Even balancing
Okay.
the elements is one of the major rules in photography. So it is highly
Yes.
recommended that the subject is here, so that there
Okay.
is equal balance. Good. Nice.
This object you will have three pictures because I tried without background and with background.
Ah, okay. So how did you get the black background here? How did
It's
you
a
manage?
cloth. It's my dress.
Acha, you put a, okay, fine, very nice.
Yeah, I make
And
my husband stand with the with the background.
okay, so see, you can very clearly see the difference between the two, right? Here it
Yes.
is like a lot of clutter, the chair, the
Yeah.
things in the background.
Hmm.
Okay, so a lot of distractions, whereas here it is completely dark, and the contrast is really working with this colorful
Yeah.
uh, flower pot or whatever pot you have here. So the effort that you took is actually working to make this picture better. Yeah, but then I like this one better, even better than the this one, right? Because okay, everything is black, and then suddenly you have a bright globe in between. Whereas here it is like gradual. Isolate the subject from the background. There is nothing there in the background, isn't it? And
Yeah.
when you have such colorful subjects, okay, green, yellows, reds against a black background, it really works. Like in
And
this
one more
example.
thing I noticed is when the background is black, first three photos, the subject looks more brighter when the background is black.
Yes, yes, very much true. Because in comparison to the black background, bright colors would always give that extra pop. Right there, this is a really nice picture, Anjali. Um,
Yeah, thank you.
all the colors are really working here.
This one
Hmm.
I purposely put here because I was just trying, and my husband passed from there, and because of slow shutter speed, I could
Uh,
get the background.
acha, acha. Okay, what is it? Is it a TV screen or something like that? What is this reflection? What is this?
No, he was passing from there.
Acha,
He was
okay, because
moving.
he was moving.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
yeah,
Hmm.
it gave shade. That's why I kept this picture over here.
Right. See now you see the difference between these two. See, everything has its own charm and beauty about it, isn't it? A black background, it helps you um, avoid any distractions. It focuses on the subject. It helps you isolate the subject from the background. So that is the
Yeah.
purpose of a black background completely, and it works. Okay, but then that is not the only thing that works. Okay, so here you see, even though it is black, but then a little bit of um, color in the background, right?
Yes.
It again helps achieve good results. Okay, so
Yeah.
what do we call in photography? We call it the halo light. Halo light, yes. So that is
Uh-huh.
what we call. So normally, when you shoot in studios, we purposefully put a light behind the subject so
Uh-huh.
that the background is like there is a gradual change in light. Okay, from top to bottom or bottom to top,
Okay.
instead of it being a single monotone color. It helps
Yeah.
you get that gradual change in light. Okay, and this is what I can see in this picture. Right now, here you see, um, you are standing and you are clicking this photograph, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I mean, I would have suggested, or I mean, it would have been better if you would have been lying flat on the lawns,
Yeah.
okay, and then clicking
Mhm.
the picture of these birds, egret. Always shoot at the eye level.
The moment you
Remember that?
shake, this birds used to go out actually.
No, that's the trick. I mean, birds, I mean, they're like, you have to be very careful. So you have to, uh, I mean, be very patient with them. Lie on the ground, be there, and hope the birds come back again. Okay, if it would have been a ground level shot, you would have seen the difference. Okay, the shallow depth
Mm-hmm.
of field from
Correct.
the launch, moving on to the
Mm-hmm.
subjects, which are the birds, and again the background would have been blur. The beautiful swimming pool here. But then, as I said, subject, living subject always helps. So somebody in the frame would have made it even better. Yeah, this is looks very nice.
I want to take a.
Yes. Okay. So leading lines, good use of the leading lines, good use of the depth of field, uh, the good use of patterns. Okay. Can you see all these things repeating again and again?
Yeah.
So overall,
Yes, yes.
good use of many rules of composition here: leading lines, patterns, depth of fields, and stuff. This is like bright, very bright,
He
overexposed.
should be facing here actually. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but then since he is a white man, the light is actually reflecting more, so it's overexposed. So you have to be very careful of the texture of the skin, white, brown, black, and
Mm-hmm.
accordingly your exposure would also vary. So you try to get the motion blur, but then it's become overexposed,
Yes, yes.
right? See all these whites and all. So this is where you
And
make use of ND filters. Okay, ND filters are useful in this scenario, right? So whoever took the efforts to click pictures and post it here, I think you have got the feedbacks. Okay, for people who couldn't complete the assignment, I'm sorry, but then you are lost out on the opportunity, at least this time. But then keep clicking, keep posting,